Hello and welcome to my channel, Boo Steaks and More. Today we're going to be talking about breeding ball pythons, so please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And for more videos like this, also watch my other house channel, A&A Snakes and Stuff, my youngest son's channel, Henny's Toys and Games, or my oldest son's channel, Little Chris 10. Now let's dive into the video. So you want to breed ball pythons and you're not quite sure what you are doing. I've documented the whole process in pictures. This is a very basic breeding recipe that works for us. Through pictures, we hope to show and explain to you the ins and outs of breeding. In October, we lower our temps at night. The hot spot goes down to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And the cool end is 78 degrees Fahrenheit. We start to adjust our lighting to make shorter days. 14 hours dark, 10 hours of light. We use natural sunlight spectrum bulbs in our room. Although ball pythons come from Africa, and they live on or very close to the equator, where there is no light change 12-12, we still increase the length of darkness during the breeding season. Is there any scientific reasoning behind it? Not really. It's just the way we do it, and it works for us. I think more hours in the dark lead to more security. More security, the more comfortable they are, and the more they may breed. It also marks a change in seasons. Starting November 1st, we introduce males into the females' containers. We leave them in for 2 to 3 days or shorter if we observe conception. We try to breed every female at least once every shed cycle. Some do more, but this works for us, and we don't exhaust our males this way. We continue to feed during the breeding season, but only small males, 3 to 4 week old rats, and only every 10 days, depending on where we are in the breeding cycle. We feed our snakes as long as they want to eat. When they stop feeding on their own, it's usually a good sign and a time to look for signs of building towards ovulation. See pictures below. We continue to observe and document all activity, positive or negative. Humidity is in the 60 to 70% range in our room all year. While many breeders start palpitating for follicles in January, we do not. I wait until mid-February. I've been fooled when I didn't feel any early only to have females go on and ovulate. I also look for other obvious signs that are being covered below. On March 1st, I start to raise temps back to normal 24/7, 92 degrees Fahrenheit hotspot, 82 degrees Fahrenheit cool end. I keep pairing until I see obvious signs or until the end of May. As a rule, males usually start breeding consistently their second winter at 800 grams or more. Some will breed earlier, but that is the exception rather than the rule. I have had males breed as early as 4.5 months and as light as 394 grams. Again, this is a rare exception. I have heard of instances where males have died from overbreeding. They are not machines. 3 days on, 3 days off is the way I do it. If they breed in the first day of their 3 days, they get 3 days off. Females are usually ready to be bred their third winter and over 1,500 grams in weight. Some will go their second winter, but they still must be 1,500 grams or more. There have been instances where smaller females have produced viable clutches, but it is rare and the clutches are small. Bigger is not always necessarily better. Power feeding is not the way to go. A nice consistent growth is much better and healthier. This is not a race. That's it in an eggshell. I hope it helps you out. The photos below document every step. Hopefully these visual aids will give you a better understanding of the breeding process. Courting, when a male is introduced to a female, it doesn't take long before he shows interest. He gets as close as he can and tickles her with his spears. His spears move just like a human finger. Back and forth, back and forth. It tickles her until she is receptive. When in position, he enters her. Good lock. Once in, he locks himself into position and stays that way anywhere from 4 to 24 hours. Talk about staying power. Most are related to sting. Actually, the whole process is not that exciting to watch. They very rarely move. Another good lock. The male and female stay very close at all times. Is this a lock? Sometimes you might think your pair is breeding, but unless you see a lock, it doesn't count. This definitely is. No doubt about this one. Lock and load. Done like dinner. Zzz. Look very closely and you will see a smaller male. All nice and cozy like. Smack dab in the middle of this big female. With snake, size doesn't matter. Really, this male was 395 grams and 5 months old when he started breeding. Developing behavior. When females start to grow follicles, their behavior changes. They seek the cooler end of the cage and often wrap themselves around their water bowls. Whether it is to enhance the cold is purely speculative. It is very common and a very good indication of good things to come. Lumping. I have often heard some breeds refer to their females as lumping up. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I often see females wrapped around water bowls or not with what looks like lumps or kinks in their body. This seems to happen when building follicles. They glow before they go. My females go through a drastic color change when they are nearing ovulation. They can change color up to 6 weeks before. I call it glow before they go. This usually takes place after the pre-ovulation shed. If they glow, they usually go. More glow. The glowing effect is very evident in the head and neck area. Some females almost look like ghosts plus hypos. It is quite a transition and can be quite shocking. I find myself asking, where the heck did you come from? A complete color transition is incredible to see. Laying inverted. This is another good sign. Chances are you will catch your female laying inverted. Another quite common and isn't a sure sign of eventual ovulation. I've seen some of my males laying inverted on occasion, usually after they have bred for 24 hours. Go figure. Building. Anywhere from 6 weeks prior to ovulation, females begin to build. They start growing follicles well before, but now you can see the build. Still seeking the cool end, they develop a body swelling about 2/3 of the way down their body. See the build? If you hold them up and get them to relax, when they drape down loosely without tension in their body, you can see a wow in their profile. This swell gets bigger until ovulation is reached. Quite the pouch. Look at her from the side and you can see her belly protruding, as if she has a full belly. The fact that she hasn't eaten a meal should indicate that she is well on her way to ovulation. Keep a close eye. Quite often females will look at you with that "do you think I look fat" look in their eye. Don't answer them. You can't win. Finally, ovulation. People often ask, how do I know when my female is ovulating? Trust me, there's no mistaking it. She looks like she has swallowed a jumbo rat. She is hard, she is miserable, and she is huge. You can see the swelling 3/4 of the way down, 44 days till eggs. Toe suck. When they ovulate, then their toe looks like all the fat is being sucked out of it. It looks very scrunched. Sometimes they will have a scrunched tail prior to ovulation without the body swell. This is just part of the building process. Pre-lay shed. Shortly after ovulation, most females go into a pre-ovulation shed cycle. They usually shed 16 days after. From this date, my female usually lay 27 days later, give or take a few days. The pre-lay shed is the best date from which to start your countdown. Pre-lay soak. Humidity is a must during this period. The female will sometimes seek additional humidity while in shed by soaking in her water dish. I often dampen her substrate prior to this time and keep the humidity in a 65 to 70% range. Heat seeking. Once she has ovulated and shed, females rarely seek the warmth of their cage. They hug the hot spot, forming a perfect coral. The closer to this position, the more perfect the coral. Just prior to laying her clutch, she moves around the cage in a very restless fashion, then settles into work. Perfect coral, tail in the center. Ridgeback. Another characteristic of gravid females is that they go from that nice round look to having a V shape to their backs. It looks like their spines are more pronounced and are more triangular in shape. This is common in all females that are gravid and takes place after ovulation and becomes more evident after closer to laying time. Perfect core females that are gravid, and particularly ones that are very close to laying, will lay in a perfect core most of the time. On one occasion, I missed ovulation and noticed my female laying in a perfect core. I suspected something and my hunch was correct. 27 days after her last shed, she produced 8 perfect eggs. Egg adjustment. Just prior to laying the eggs, females become very restless and move around a lot. I sometimes see them folding their body oddly. It's as if they are trying to move their eggs into position for laying. It is similar to with a tube of toothpaste, to move the paste closer to the exit hole. Just an observation. Stand back, she's gonna blow. She makes a little nest, and when all is quiet, she'll usually start her laying. It can take several hours before all the eggs are deposited. Females get very agitated easily It is best to stand back and away at this time. I know, but it is so cool. Don't mess with me. Females tend to be very nasty and extremely protective after they have laid their eggs. For a step-by-step process on how to remove her from her eggs, go to the egg remover page. Okay, I see. 1, 2, 3. Females are very attentive to their eggs. It's quite touching, actually. Now is the time to remove her so that you can place the eggs in the incubator container. Most of the time, I gently grasp her just behind the neck and at the base of the tail and unwrap her from the eggs. Big job, bigger clutch. Sometimes clutches are so big she can hardly wrap herself around them. A nice 13-egg clutch. The average is 6 eggs. Make sure she is finished laying before removing her. Run your fingers down her belly to feel for any more eggs. If she has more, put her back. And weighing in at, we weigh our clutches to get a per egg average. Some eggs range anywhere from 90 to 150 grams. They also stick together. Don't try to separate them. If one falls off by itself, that's fine, but never force them apart. Straight to the incubator. We use vermiculite and perlite mixture for our medium. We mix in enough water thoroughly so that when squeezed in your hand, no water drips out and it clumps together. It should fall apart when clumped. Too wet or too dry will kill your eggs. We incubate at 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Walk on in. We use a walk-in incubator so that we can go in and check on the eggs regularly without really disturbing them. We closely monitor the heat and humidity with remote sensors. We use a Herostat ND thermostat hooked up to an oil-filled radiator. A fan circulates the air. Are they fertile? We candle the eggs to see if they are fertile. We use a small Magnilite flashlight. We turn off the lights and hold the flashlight up against the egg. A fertile egg has a series of veins through part of the egg. Absence of veins means it is not fertile, and it will soon deteriorate. Slugs. Sometimes you get slugs. They are eggs that were never fertilized. I have gotten eggs that looked good only to discover that they were infertile. Females that are either underweight or overweight have a tendency to give us the most slugs. Laid egg or slug. I had a female lay a clutch of 4 good eggs and 3 slugs. The female was quartered as if she was done, so I removed her from the clutch. Upon inspection, the female had another egg inside her. It was very hard to the touch, so I presumed it was a slug. I put her back and nothing happened within 24 hours. I then removed the eggs and the female. The female began eating almost immediately, and 24 days later, she shed, popped, pooped, and passed a big hard egg. A double egg. We had 2 eggs that were joined together. One side was fertile and the other was not. Eventually, it too died. I cut the eggs away from the good ones, only to put a small hole in one of the good ones. It started to sleep, so I put a Band-Aid on it, and it went full term. A little egg. This clutch consisted of 8 eggs. 7 were normal, and 1 was small and half slug-like. To my surprise, the little egg was fertile. It weighs in at only a piddly 50 grams. Will it go full a term? Only time will tell. Update. The egg survived and the baby weighed in at 16 grams. It survived and is a breeder today. A boob egg. Occasionally you will get eggs that aren't quite developed. Usually these eggs go full term, but the hatchlings tend to be smaller. They catch up pretty quick though. Sometimes you get eggs with a portion of clear shell that looks like a window. You can see the hatchlings develop. Thank you for watching this video and peace out till the next one.